Hello, on this video I'm going to be showing you what I teach on the first 3 days of school. So if you're interested in watching, keep watching. And I know I've done a video that's similar to this, but it was like ideas for the first day of school. If you're interested in checking that out, I will post it up here at the top. What I teach on the first 3 days of school is procedures and routines. It's all just basically how you come in the morning. Where does your folder go? Where does your backpack go? How do you get your breakfast? What do you do when you first come in? So I use morning tubs. So they'll come in, they'll grab their morning tubs. So we'll talk about, if you've already had a morning tub, you don't get that morning tub again until the following week. So I use my morning tubs for 4 weeks. And again, I've done a video on morning tubs, so if you're interested in that, I'll try to post it. You can find these, I just searched on Google and said, routines and procedures checklist. And I pulled this up. And they had a ton of them. This one here I really liked, but again, it's just a lot of routines. And so it's gonna get so boring. But I will tell you, doing it now saves you so much headache in the long run. So we spent a long time on procedures and routines. We practice them every single day. One of the ones that I will generally forget, which is actually on this checklist, is your emergency procedures. So how to get out of here in a fire drill, what to do in a lockdown, tornado drill. So with procedures and routines comes creating anchor charts and other resources that can be used around the classroom. So that's another thing that we do a lot of, is we do anchor charts on how to use the materials properly, how to do, how to do things. So one of the big ones that we do, and I do it on the very first day of school, is I read No David and David Goes to School, which I'm sorry, this book is like so tore up. I need to get a new one, but I just haven't got around to doing it. We read both of these books, and then we create an anchor chart on what's okay, or what did David do that was wrong, and what is the correct thing to do. So that way they have it, and I can reference it because we help create it together. I do the same thing with other anchor charts, like how to use the glue sponges, how to keep our materials safe and proper, and all those things. How to be a good friend on the playground. It's just, there's a lot of anchor charts. I love anchor charts. So, I'll create a lot of those kind of things. Another one that comes along with, when we get ready to do your procedures for, recess and lunch and those kind of things, and, your expectations and those stuff, using the book Beagle. The Adventures of Beagle. Great book. It's all about this imaginary friend that does not have a unimaginary friend to find. So it's a really good book. It talks about friendship a lot, and just being there for people. And so that's something that I'll read the book, then we'll go over how to act properly on the playground, and then we'll talk about things about if you see somebody that doesn't have a friend, that's just walking around, what can you do? We talk about that with Beagle. That's another one that we do a lot. I do a lot of read-alouds just because they really get the point across on certain topics that you're trying to do. So that's another one, and we'll also create another one of my read-alouds that I read is First Day Jitters. I've talked about it in the last video. I use this one a lot, and it's basically just all about feelings and how you feel, and it's a great way to open up to things about the students. So then we'll go into doing activities that are about them. So I talked about the me bags. I also do a booklet that's about me that actually came from a packet that I got, and I don't remember who did the packet. If I can find it, it's been several years now, but it's a boy and a girl, and it's the whole body, and you have to cut it out. So each one is cut out the whole thing. So the booklet is the shape of the person. And then we'll also do behavior expectations. So I'll do, we go over, we use, in my classroom, I use Super Improvers. If you're interested, you can check out One Fab Teacher. Miss May, she is the one that created the one that I use in my classroom. And it's so simple. The kids just have a little card that it's called scorecard is what I call them. I don't know if that's what they call it, but they have 10 levels that they move up by the end of the school year. And I go over it. So I tell them what is a way to earn stickers? So that way, if there's any issues, they're not lining up properly, I'd be like, what is one of your ways that you can earn a sticker? Oh, by lining up properly, those kind of things. And another thing is that we do a lot of the same thing. over and over and over and over again, just because it's necessary. So when they line up, if they don't line up properly, I make them go sit down and do it again. If they're in centers and they're fighting, they all go back to their desks and they do it again. Like, I think if you don't do that in the beginning, it causes such a huge problem. And you can't be scared. Like, I know, I remember back to when I was a first year teacher, and it felt like failure if I had to make the kids go back to their desks because they weren't doing their centers properly. Part of it was because we didn't practice the procedures and the expectations in the first place. That was one of my big mistakes. But also, even if I forgot to do that, as soon as they started acting up, I should have sent them back to their desks and said, you know what, this is not okay. This is how we need to be doing it. One of the other big things that I use a lot of, which I'll kind of like, is I have a lot of like little signs that are around my room. And so what I will end up doing is we will go over what those signs mean, because they are first graders and they probably can't, not all of them can read them. So, but there are things like throw kindness around like confetti. Teamwork makes the dream work. And that one we talk about how we work as a group. And so like my signs that are in my room, a lot of them have to do with, they're just things that allow the students to just reminders. And so I think it's important for them to know what the signs say, because why put them up if you're not going to tell them what they mean and like they don't know what they mean. So I'll also go over a lot of that too. So I'll go over all of the little signs that we have and, you know, what their meaning is, why I hung them up in our classroom. I do a lot of that. I also teach, I start day one, daily 5. I started day one. The very first thing I do on daily 5 is I teach them how to read a book. So we go over the 3 different ways. We create an anchor chart for it. So you can read the words, read the pictures, retell the story. So I go over that. The other one, and then we go into, we talk about stamina and what is stamina, what does it mean, on all those, like, you know, stuff about stamina. And then we go over and we learn about read to self. And so when I explain to them this is one of the hardest ones you're going to do first is read to self, we get it done out of the way, and the rest are like pieces of cake. And so and they work really hard on it. A lot of these kids have had daily 5 before in kindergarten, so some of it's not very foreign to them. Some of them haven't. It just depends on the class and who the teacher was. Most of our school uses daily 5 for the most part. And then what I'll do is I'll give them a book, and I just pick out books randomly. I don't even like plan it out. I'm just like boom, 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 boom. Everybody get a book. And it's recommended through the 2 sisters of daily 5 that you place them yourself where they're going to be. You're going to sit here, and I put their book down. This is where you're going to sit. This is where you're going to sit. This is where you're going to sit. So they're all spread out so they can see what it looks like when they're all spread out and not sitting next to each other. And then we practice. I go up to 3 minutes. If they make it to 3 minutes, I still stop them at 3 minutes. If they don't make it to 3 minutes, we talk about it. Why? Why didn't we make it that long? Like, that's our goal, was 3 minutes. And I'll do 3 minutes, I think for like a day, or for about 3 days probably. I'll do about 3 minutes, and then we'll start bumping them up, and I'll start moving them up by minute increments. So when they hit 4 minutes, I stop them again the next time we do it. And then the next day, if they make it to 4, then the next day we go to 5, and I stop them at 5. And I explain to the kids why. Why is that important? It's because if you go too far, what if you can never make it again? You know, we gotta build the stamina. We don't just jump for it, you know? So we talk about that. So we do daily 5. I do it the very first day. I do it the second day. I do it the third day. Then the other one I do is small groups, our math centers, which I use, as you can see over here, I use this little system that I have, which I'll kind of show a picture of right now. But I use this system, but I don't start out with this system. So I break it down. So we go over how to do our interactive notebooks. So I break apart a lot of the stuff up here. How do we do our interactive notebooks? And we'll do it as a group. And they're super simple. It's like, just cut out this square with the apple on it. Now color the apple red. So they're really simple directions, but it's just building up, getting them used to be able to work independently. So I don't have to sit there and babysit. And then I break them apart and we do small groups. And basically it's fun centers. They get blocks, they get cubes, they get whatever. And I'm just monitoring and watching to see how they're doing. And if there's an issue, like if there's a whole class issue where they're getting super loud, I have a quiet bell. 3 times I ring that quiet bell. The first time they turn to each other and they say, whisper. And then they go back to groups again. Second time I ring the bell, they do it again. Whisper, talk. They go back to groups. The third time they're done, they go back to their seats, and we talk about what could you have done differently, why were you being loud, you know, we talk about all that, and then we go back out and we try it again. So this is the quiet bell. This quiet bell actually I got from my mentor teacher when I was student teacher in kindergarten. She gave it to me as one of my gifts that I got. So she got me like a whole bunch of stuff like borders and all kinds of fun stuff. And she gave me this quiet bell. I still have it. It's broken. I think I've glued it together, but the top piece does pop off. But yeah, I just ring it. And then they go, whisper dog. And that's just the way it goes. So I recommend having some kind of like quick little noise maker thing. So the last thing that we do is our doorbell. And so that's another procedure that I throw in is a doorbell. And I use a doorbell in here when I need to get their attention so I don't have to say anything and just ring the doorbell. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any comments or you have any other things that you didn't understand or whatever, please put a comment down below. I hope you like what you saw. If you did, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Follow me on all the social media that's listed down below. If you would like to buy me a coffee, the link is all the way down at the bottom. And until next time, remember to always be you. Bye.